Alright, actually ready to go this time.
Okay, attempt number 2. We do have observer mode this time, so I imagine attempt number 2 will be successful. I hope.
We shall see.
But yes, the matchup is going to be Spain versus France on High Plains. And what do you expect from this matchup, Musketeer?
Oof, my expectations are probably not too relevant here. But certainly I agree that we're going to see some ATP here. I at least hope so. Not sure. It looks like.
Is it your turn to do the introductions yet?
I suppose so.
All
we
right.
have Paulus Maximus playing Spain in the north side of the map here. And we have Warno on the south side of the map playing as France.
All right. And yeah, both players off to a quick start here. Paul is going to be splitting up his War Dog and his Explorer just to cover some more ground. Going to be coming across that very nice 130 food treasure very early into the game. Going to help him with his age up.
Warno dropping a trading post in the left corner over here, but it looks like it's going to be found by Paulus's War Dog, perhaps?
Could be.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not. But interestingly enough, it looks like Paulus did decide to go for a market start instead of a trading post start as Spain here. So going to allow him to get these treasures a little bit earlier into the game. Not going to be delayed by that trading post or anything like that. So he'll definitely have a much faster age up as a result of that, I think, with this 130 food. But slightly less shipments moving into the later stages of the game. But he can easily add that in transition. And I think as Spain, that's not going to slow down your shipment curve at all, really. So it's probably not the biggest deal in the world, at least for now. And yeah, okay. So let's take a look at the deck real quick. He does have ATP in his deck. So that is an option that's available to him. Could potentially send that as his second shipment in age 1 here.
Do you think that's something we'll see after this market start?
It doesn't seem as great with the market start for sure, but we could definitely still see it, I think.
Definitely a treasure contention coming up here for this 50 wood.
Yep. Looks like the native scout's going to die to the War Dog. Unfortunately, he does try to run at the last second, but a little bit too late. And does also lose the treasure, so not the best trade in the world for Warno right there. However, he does have more HP on his Explorer, so he could actually kill this War Dog and turn and fight this if he wants to, but looks like he doesn't actually want to do that at the moment. Back at home, though, Paulus is quickly approaching the resources needed to advance to the Colonial Age. He's up to 700 food. So he's actually still going to be doing a 15-ville age up, which is pretty standard, but he'll be doing it pretty comfortably off the back of that 130 food. And he doesn't have a shipment available to him just yet. We'll see if he decides to send advanced trading post in a moment here when he does get that shipment, or if he chooses to just sit on that. But he is chopping wood, so there's definitely going to be a trading post. Okay, yeah, he has sent the card, so it will be ATP coming in shortly. Trying to get control over this TP line. And this is one of the reasons we don't normally see the market start out of Spain. Just because you can sort of sit on that 100 wood, and then once ATP comes in, that's basically just a trading post, straight up. I mean, the market is still good, for sure. But getting those trading posts down quickly is probably just as good, but not going to do that this game, so.
Especially considering it looks like he hasn't done any of the market techs yet either. He just put down the market and didn't use it for anything. So I think that 100 wood would have been better spent on the sooner trading post.
Either way, though, he does have enough resources to drop a military building, potentially. So I wonder if we're not going to be seeing the usual fast fortress sort of style from him as he hits colonial here. He's walking towards the next TP, so that could just be for more trading posts. But we'll see in a moment here. It is going to be the governor age up, so the 200 coin and the post. And yeah, it's going to be the stable coming down, and probably a 700 wood shipment going to be coming behind this to provide him with some houses, some additional TPs, and market upgrades and stuff like that. But definitely not the standard sort of playstyle we normally see from Spain coming out here. Going to be a little bit of a semi-fast fortress instead of a fast fortress, maybe. So Warno could be caught off guard by this. He doesn't have a native scout anymore either, so he can't exactly check his opponent's base.
Right.
To see what's going on, unless he wants to risk losing that explorer.
Paul picking up a coyote here.
Yep, giving him an extra scouting unit will be pretty helpful later on. Can also tank a couple of Hussar hits, or
not too many, only 54 hit points there, but
yeah, true. But looks like it's not going to be Hussars anyway from Warno. It's going to be Musketeers, as that barracks does come down.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing in queue for him yet, but there are Hussars in queue for Paulus Maximus. And with this 700 wood, he is going to be dropping down another trading post in the middle of the map here, as well as getting market upgrades, maybe? Not yet, but I imagine we'll see them soon. And these 4 Hussars will be moving across the map. It's actually pikemen in queue for Warno, not musketeers. So that will be a little bit heavier on the siege. Potentially could take out some of these trading posts and catch these Hussars. Yeah. So
yes, he does.
Going to get quite a bit of damage done there. Probably going to be able to get us away from that, but
it's a pretty good snare.
Yeah, feels bad to get caught by that for sure.
Yeah, he's made it out of there though, and didn't lose a Hussar, although most of the hit points on one of them.
Yeah, not the greatest trade in the world, but definitely could have been worse. And
gonna siege this trading post.
But the animals coming in here,
getting caught.
Yep, gonna get
although
picked
they
off
do
by...
take out a pikeman.
Yep, and this is one of the reasons that ATP is so good too. When you have these low numbers of units, throwing one pikeman into cover mode there, I like that. But
yeah.
it costs almost as much for you to siege the trading post as it costs for him to build it. He's going to lose a total of 2, maybe even 3 pikemen for this trading post, which is already worth more than the trading post cost him. So
yep.
Definitely very worthwhile for him. Going to throw the next pikeman into cover mode. Buy him some more HP on that.
The score updated.
Oh. Indeed, it is not 3-1 in favor of Warno.
No.
It
okay,
is
looks like Hussar's
0-0.
getting caught again. Oh, maybe not. They just walked right through each other.
Yeah, looks like they will be able to escape, but they'll be dissuaded from entering the base all the same. That trading post does finally go down for the cost of 3 pikemen.
Yeah, not exactly a great trade for Warno there, but he has to do something about those.
Yeah, you can't just let Spain have all the trading posts for free, for sure. But, yeah, you got to be feeling all right about that if you're Paulus Maximus. And it looks like you will be clicking up to the Fortress Age now. Let's see what he's aging up with. It's going to be the Scout. I believe that is the 4 Hussars. So.
Oh, yeah. Hussars getting caught over here. One going down. Another one quite damaged now, but getting away again.
Yep. So, not a whole lot of damage done by these Hussars at the moment. And the Explorer just going to be making his way over towards the trading post that was destroyed already. Going to be rebuilding that. It is really easy for him to replace that with the ATP. And, yeah, this is why this card is just good on this map.
Well, I thought he was. He had the resources, but it doesn't appear he's aging up.
It does not.
Where did the resources go?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think that was
Oh,
UI,
I see.
But...
Okay, no. What must have happened was he had villagers in queue, and then the age up was queued behind it, so didn't show up on the UI.
On this trading post as it goes up. They've done some serious damage on that with just 5 pikes, thanks to that sieging the foundation.
Yeah, that's going to make taking that out a little bit easier, but he's still going to lose 1 pikeman for it. Like, it's still not for free. That's what sucks so much about trying to deal with ATP. But at the end of the day, he is going to manage to clean up most of the TPs. Probably going to leave Spain with 1 TP left. And he'll be up to Fortress around the same time as his Spanish counterpart, so despite how much it costs him to... Yeah, despite how much it costs him to kill these TPs, I think he's going to be sitting in a decent position either way. His economy is a little bit stronger than Spain's behind this, and having denied the potential stagecoach from Spain is already a pretty big blow to his economy. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine if he just left the TPs uncontested and he just got the stagecoach upgrade. They would be really, really far ahead economically. But, yeah, either way, going to be...
Warno leaving that last trading post there and trying to take these pikemen to raid a little bit, it looks like.
Yeah, he might actually be effective with that. It looks like he's going to force some vills to idle at the very least. Probably not going to kill them, as the pikes do almost no damage to villagers, but...
And losing a few pikes for it with these skirmishers here.
Yeah, maybe more than a few pikes. He's a little bit distracted at home as there's a raid going on.
Yeah.
And does lose a couple of CDB, but... Yeah, alright. Losing all of the pikes for that is not the greatest trade in the world for him. So Spain's going to be alright with that.
Bills there? I didn't see in the UI, it's not showing any careers down.
You're right, actually. He didn't actually lose any vills there.
I think one was very close, but...
Yeah, there's one on, like, almost no hit points somewhere. Hiding? I actually don't know where it is.
One went.
It might be, like, hidden inside another CDB or something.
That's the one he's using to herd this herd way out here.
That seems like a good CDB to use to herd, for sure. Very, very safe there. Anyway, So going for pretty standard compositions at the moment, I suppose. Skirm Goon for the French player, and Skirm Rodolero for the Spanish player.
Yep, a few hussars around still from the colonial age, but doesn't look like he's going to be training more of those. He also has one goon in his base here. Yeah, he's got another goon in queue as well.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to be transitioning a little bit.
Trying to rebuild some of these trading posts, but I don't think he's going to get this one up. Yeah, loses the Explorer, and going to lose most of his wood out of that too, since he had it almost up. And another foundation laid down that I hope he either deletes or builds soon.
Yeah, he'll have to rescue the Explorer before he can really think about building that, I think. Without risking a villager, at least.
Yeah.
A couple of vills gonna get picked off here.
Maybe more than a couple.
Yeah. On this forward hunt here.
Two. Third one down to 2 hit points, but it's gonna get away.
Yep, and 2 Falconets coming out for Spain. It's gonna help him force this skirmisher mass away, potentially. If Warno chooses to stick around, which it looks like he may not want to stick around anyway. And, yeah, so that 1,000 wood for Paulus Maximus not paying off so well at the moment. Still sitting on about 300 of that, with a little bit more if you count the foundation that hasn't been constructed. But, it will help him out later on. Could potentially get his veteran Rodolero upgrade with that or something.
Yeah, Warno's sitting on a lot of food here.
Yeah, he's actually almost got the resources to go industrial if he wants to. Not that he has any cards in industrial that would really make that worthwhile. Goon's gonna be getting onto the Falconets. Okay. Not quite.
Yep. Walking out of there. No damage to the Falconets, it looks like. Yeah. Warno going home, although some goons headed out that looks like they might stray out and get caught by some skirmishers.
Yeah, it looks like he does catch those in time. Yeah, both players playing very, very passively in the Fortress Age here. A little bit scared to commit to anything. Warno probably just wants to make sure that he can fix his macro before he commits to anything. It's usually not the best idea to try and fight when you have a lot of resources stacked up, because it could be potentially just 10 more units in your army, which is, of course, quite big. Could also just be waiting for that 2 Falconet shipment that just arrived before he tries to contest the Spanish Falconets himself. And he's got a pretty respectable army mass behind this now. He's up 10 unit population on the Spanish player, as well as having a lot of resources in the bank, so he could think about pushing out now. Of course, he doesn't actually know how large the army gap is, but the 2 Falconets are definitely going to be something he's going to want to push with, and it looks like that is going to be the case.
Yeah, despite that, the resources in the bank there, he's up in score enough that it's really okay, even though Paul has invested all into his army. They're pretty even on army because of that, with Warno a little up.
Couple of goons going to get picked off here by the skirms. Not a super big deal. And the Falc's now finally going to advance into bombard mode and start picking away at these buildings and units. The skirmishers sort of stepping out of position a little bit.
Coyote going for this Falconet now, thanks to that splash damage. Yeah, and doing some damage, actually. There he took care of it.
Yeah, 9 damage down on that Falconet. Not going to be the biggest gold in the world. Yeah. Biggest gold in the world? Biggest deal in the world, I mean. I was saying that while reading Spanish gold arriving, so...
It does look like Warno might be macroed to age up here. He's got 1,000 coin and 2,000 food.
Yeah. It's looking like that is definitely maybe a thought that's going through his mind. Spanish gold coming for Spain now behind this. A little bit late for that shipment. Normally you want to send that earlier rather than later. But maybe he doesn't have a lot of shipments he feels like he should really be sending here.
Yeah. Paul losing, or Warno losing a Falconet that I don't think he should have lost there. That one of Paul's Falconets down at 2 hit points, managing to take it down while in range. I think Warno could have microed that a little better and taken down that Falconet instead.
Yeah, for sure, but he does manage to pick up Spain's Falc in exchange for that, so he's not behind in the Falc count just yet, although he will potentially lose his now in a moment. The Cure is going to be able to pick off that last Falconet most likely if he splits one of them off, and all of the units magically getting smited by random numbers that are floating in the air or something.
Beautiful.
Anyway, yeah, Paul is not happy about that loss. Looks like he's going to be deleting his army. And yeah, first game, going to go over to our Canadian player, Mr. Warno here.
Yeah, so for the next map, what are we moving on to here? Fertile Crescent? Looks like.
Fertile Crescent, you say?
Yeah.
Let's see. What civs do they like to play? They could potentially play on Fertile Crescent.
Sounds like Paul plays just about every European civ. Well, a lot of them anyway. As well as Japan. Warno, Brit, French, and Japan we might see.
Okay.
All seem like reasonable civs on this map. I think this map is pretty versatile in terms of what you can do with it.
Yeah, it's certainly not one-dimensional. Although it is maybe slightly lower resource than some other maps. It's also got some berries out on the map other than rather than hunts in certain parts. So Japan would be a decent pick on this map for Warno, maybe.
I was removed from the game by the host.
Me too. But now I'm going to rejoin anyway.
Yeah, I got in that time.
Alright. Just resetting the slots, I guess.
Yeah.
So Warno does have to pick his civ first, as he did win the previous game. I'm going to guess it's Japan, but we could see Brit. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. He can't play France anymore since he just won with them. Do you think we'll see these players starting to run out of civs at all? I guess since they only are eliminated when they win, maybe not such a problem in a best of 5, but...
Yeah, it seems like both of them are capable with at least 3 civilizations, so I feel like that won't be a super big issue probably in this series. But you never know. You could end up in a situation where the last civ you're comfortable with is not very good on a particular map or something like that.
Yeah.
But most of the civs these players play are relatively versatile as well, so I don't expect that to be the case either.
Yeah, and
Sioux.
I guess Warno has been playing in tournaments for quite a long time now. He's been playing in ESOC tournaments since 2017, so picking a civ we hadn't mentioned here, so it looks like maybe he has more depth than we've been told.
Yeah, it could be. Gonna be picking the Sioux. And this is a map, too, where you do have to leave your base for resources pretty early sometimes. So Sioux could potentially have a lot of raiding pressure very early on, which could be difficult to deal with on this map for sure. So makes sense to pick that in that regard. But Dutch going to be coming in response. Dutch, of course, not needing as many natural resources as other civs, as their villagers cost gold and their banks generate that gold without the use of natural resources. So
yeah, that seems
makes
like
sense.
A reasonable counter here.
Mm-hmm.
Warno, thinking about that for a second, maybe not too happy about that pick.
Could also just be checking his deck or something.
That too.
But yeah, we are going to be jumping into the second game here. I'm not really sure what to expect from this matchup, I suppose. I used to think that this matchup was good for Dutch, and then I got destroyed every time I played it in tournaments, so now I'm not sure anymore. But in theory, it feels like Dutch should be okay. If you just gotta like sort of manage the amount of banks that you build, make sure that you get up to the fortress age at a reasonable time without over booming, so you don't just get like overrun.
So is this a matchup you think Sioux will try to do some fortress play in, or are they going to be more of a colonial pressure?
I feel like Sioux in general would just prefer to be in the fortress age. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. But you never know. Sometimes, even in tournaments, it's better to do the non-standard thing than it is to do the standard thing, just to do something. Sorry,
Yeah.
my brain is lagging. I was just
trying to catch someone off guard with something a little non-standard.
Exactly. I was just going to say that Warno did a really cool trick with the Explorer there, where if you don't have any Treasure Guardians yet, you can actually convert a Treasure Guardian and then run out of range, and the other Guardian will just switch to attacking the one you just converted, and you can save yourself some hit points on your War Chief that way. So he managed to save him. He managed to take the 100 food treasure at the cost of only 20 HP on his War Chief. Obviously, his Lion could get picked off very easily by an enemy Explorer or something like that, but at the end of the day, you'd probably rather have those hit points on your War Chief than on that Lion anyway, so that's...
the Lion vulnerable to a crack shot from a European player anyway, so
it's a cool trick from him if you're trying to learn Sioux in the early game. It's like a 90 wood treasure going to get picked up.
Yeah.
From
that's something that would also be viable Dutch. With Iroquois, right? They have conversion.
It doesn't quite work the same way with Iroquois. Like the Sioux War Chief is like so fast that he can actually just run out of range of the animal before the animal resets. And that's sort of why it works. You get like a little bit of extra damage on it while it's like chasing your Explorer, and then it turns onto the War Chief. You don't really like lose any time. Whereas if you run away with the Iroquois Explorer, you can still save HP. It just takes more time because you want to sort of kite the treasure as you would with a European Explorer, right? By like shooting it from out of range and stuff.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
I mean, it does work. It's just not quite the same mechanic, I guess, as with Sioux.
Warno picking up another Lion along with 30 food. Probably more happy about the Lion than the 30 food, but have they scouted this 50 wood with a Lion up here? Someone has. I'm not sure who. It looks like
I think it was
here going to pick it up.
Yeah, I think Warno had it scouted, but not going to be able to stop it from being taken from Dutch here. Although the Dutch Explorer is going to go down very quickly as a result of this. And I don't think Warno will be too upset at losing the treasure for killing the Explorer there. Especially since he's already killed the Envoy. That's going to mean that Dutch is going to be playing blind for pretty much the entire game. He's not really going to be able to rescue that Explorer very easily. Without leaving his base. Yeah, and there's not like normally you don't want to start cavalry against Sioux just because if they go bow riders, you kind of end up having a bad day. And starting infantry is not going to make it easy to rescue that explorer or anything like that. So he's not going to be able to do any scouting until very, very late in this game, which gives Warno a lot of freedom to do pretty much whatever he wants. Looks like he's going to be constructing a trading post eventually. For now, he's just building teepees in transition. Maybe he's just going to build that with the 400 wood from the age up.
How much of a gather rate boost do these teepees give on this version of EP?
It's 3%.
Each, and that stacks.
Yes. So something I actually don't know about how this aura functions is whether or not it only stacks off of the base HP, like similar to base gather rate, like other upgrades do, or if it, because it's an aura, if it goes off of the current gather rate, in which case having 3 TPs near each other is actually more than 9% slightly. Right. I'm not quite sure how that works, but either way. I'm not
sure about that either. I think an aura can actually be set up either way in the game engine, but I'm not. I would guess it is off the base.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it would be a lot harder to balance if it wasn't off the base, for sure.
Yeah.
We're also doing a good job with these lions, just camping them on these hunts. He's scouted most of the map at this point, so he knows that these are the next hunts for the Dutch player after this second hunt inside his base runs out, so keeping tabs on when he starts to herd on those, or if he starts trying to herd them early, is a pretty good thing to do, I suppose, with those animals. So
yeah, those lions actually look a little bit like the deer there, so they might be kind of hard to spot other than on the map.
That's true. And it looks like he's going to be dropping down a second trading post on this line, so potentially going to go for stagecoach or something here. Stable going down at home as well. No market or anything just yet. So looks like going to be pretty standard semi coming from him, possibly with bow riders or axe riders. And then just going to be following it up with maybe like 700 wood to get that market down, get the war hut, get the stagecoach and stuff like that, and then 700 gold to get yourself up to the fortress age. On the other side of the map, though, Dutch going for 700 wood first, although no third bank coming down for him, actually. Just going to be using that for a barracks, it looks like, as well as some walls going down just to make it a little bit harder for him to get raided.
Yeah, those walls quite overlapping, though.
Yeah, that doesn't look like the most efficient wall in the world, for sure.
Definitely. Those are not the longer wall segments either, so
I think
maybe...
I'm not sure if deleting the pillars on this wall actually saved him any wood, to be honest.
Yeah, I think if he would have just stretched out a wall, he would have cost the same, if not less, than those short segments.
Yeah. So, a little bit of a mistake there, but not a super big deal.
Coming across the map here from Warno.
Yeah, there's a 4 axe rider shipment and a batch of 5 bow riders. There's no units yet for Dutch. He does not have units in queue. Never mind.
Do you think we're going to see an 8 pike pop here? Shipment coming out?
Looking at his population, I don't think he has it on the way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, it looks like he's just going to get idled up for the moment here. Another Ville, not going to go down. But, yeah, I think the Sioux player will just be content just to sit under their town center here and just deny gathering as much as possible, delay the construction of other banks, potentially. And
trying to get enough food out here to get that age up in, and yeah, now able to pop his vills as Warno walks away. But the Lion's coming in to scout some more, and I expect Warno will continue poking this.
Yeah, the Lion's going to see the 700 food shipment coming out. This shipment might be a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah.
He already almost had the resources to age. And so he's actually going to be clicking up to Fortress Age with several hundred food in bank. And he's not going to have a shipment available in Fortress as a result, so not the most efficient choice there.
I think he'd have seen more value either out of holding that for Fortress or maybe shipping the 8 pike there to scare away and avoid getting idled so much.
Yeah, for sure. So another small mistake out of him. But anyway, it looks like he is going to be dropping down a stable, unless it gets denied. He might lose a couple of villagers trying to construct this stable here. Does pull back the ones that are most exposed, almost saving the one there, but it does go down in the end, and only losing 1 vill there overall, so not too bad. And he is now up to Fortress and does have Reuters in queue now, so once those Reuters come out, this pressure will be not quite as scary. Behind this, though, Warno is aging up himself. Let's see. He's aging up with the messenger, so he'll be up very quickly. Doesn't have any wood to get a war hut down or to grab that stagecoach upgrade or anything like that at the moment. Still no market to speak of either. But I think with the amount of damage he's done to his opponent's base, he's going to be alright to delay that stuff for a little while.
Yeah.
And now switching some villagers over to wood to grab that stuff shortly.
And I think I'm seeing a correction in the chat here, if I'm reading that right, that the TPs are, they do stack not on the base. So they're stacking on top of each other. So those TPs may be doing a little more economic good than we thought, and maybe a valid replacement for the market.
Yeah, although if you have TPs and the market, then it helps even more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's definitely fine either way. And it's a little bit cheaper to do it incrementally like this, and then on top of that, it's also a little bit safer too. If your opponent tries to like cheese you or anything like that, you'll have a little bit of a stronger army inside your base to defend that, which is definitely important as Sioux. As Sioux, they don't have Minutemen or anything like that, or walls, or a lot of infrastructure in general. So your base is really a lot more exposed and vulnerable to attack than most other civilizations. So those building those TPs instead of the market definitely makes your base a lot safer in that regard. So yeah, just a little bit of a trade-off, but for the most part, totally fine. Dutch army getting a little bit eager here, it looks like. Pushing out all the way to the other side of the map to siege this trading post. And looks like he might get away with it. A couple of units going to go down for the Sioux player.
Yeah, Warno doesn't look like he's too pleased to engage with that quite yet. Just trying to deter a little bit.
He had 9 Okina the whole time, but it looks like he just didn't have all of them grouped. One batch was left at home. Not one batch, sorry. It's just the other half of that Wakina shipment.
And losing 2 there for free, basically, so not too happy about that.
Yeah, so this trading post is definitely going to go down as a result of that. And that's going to mean no stagecoach or anything.
Yeah.
Don't know if he'll be too upset about that or if that was even something he had planned. But
3 dog soldiers coming out. So maybe it's time we see some pressure, although they might get caught by these Reuters here.
Could be, but these skirmishers are a little bit exposed as well, and they're going to get caught by the bow riders here. Although, yeah, the Reuters coming in to defend might be all right. So, yeah, just trades roughly a dog soldier worth of HP for a skirm and a half or something. I think I'd be happy as Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Warno having to leave his base now for hunts as well. He had such a good start, but it's starting to look not so great for him. The economic unit population is in favor of Dutch, very slightly. He's only got 3 banks, but 3 banks plus the... Well, he doesn't have better market upgrades either, and he's gathering from berries, so maybe it's not that big of a deal, actually, at the moment.
Yeah, although Warno has walked out of his auras here, he's gathering herds with absolutely no upgrades on his vills.
That's true. Not gathering inside your base as Sioux at this stage in the game does make your economy a little bit weaker. Not that he had much of a choice.
Right. We'll be happy about fighting near these teepees, though.
Yeah, we'll make those Okina a little bit stronger, but not all that much with only 2 teepees in range of these Okina. But
yeah.
The presence of the cavalry looks like it's going to be enough to force these skirmishers to run away. Reuters should be able to defend them just fine.
Another dog soldier going down there. Well, I guess that was the same one, that low HP one.
Yep, and the longer this game goes, the better this is going to get for Dutch. Well, I mean, he's going to want to add in extra banks and stuff like that at some point in this game. But regardless, he's got infantry combat in now on his skirmishers, so they're quite strong. And the more he trades units here, the better it is for him. As Sioux's economic bonus is sort of that they don't need to build houses, right? And if you're trading units, in general, as any civilization, that means you don't really need to be constructing any more houses. So, sort of as Sioux, you kind of want to avoid trading units as much as possible, and you just want to keep running around the map and being annoying. And if you're trading units, that means like you basically don't get to abuse the fact that your houses are free as much. Because,
right, Sioux is really looking to build a big mass, force the other player to build a big mass, and force the other player essentially to build a lot of houses. Invest in
and that's sort of... Exactly, that's sort of how like they compensate for having the lesser like economic upgrades and stuff like that a little bit. But yeah, looking at this fight here, it looks like it's going to go very well for Dutch for the time being. Getting a good trade there, killing off most of the cavalry. And all that remains is really bow riders and a handful of rifle riders. And yeah, it's looking tricky for Warno. We are approaching the point in the game where the dog soldier big button sort of becomes worth it, which is a big power spike. But when you don't have the army size to complement it, it's not quite as powerful as it usually is.
Yeah. And with all these Reuters out, that's just a great counter to the dog soldiers there.
Yeah, and with the hunts running out on the top northern side of the map here as well, it's going to be hard to get the 1,500 food required to get those dog soldiers out as well. Also, no upgrades on the Axe Riders just yet either. Nor on... Or no, he does have it on the Bow Riders, sorry.
Warno walking across the map looking to do some economic damage here, but looks like he might be trading a war hut for it, at least.
Yeah, it might be worth it at this point, though.
Yeah, picking up a lot of vills.
Yeah, that's going to be very nice for him. He is going to lose that war hut, as you said. He's going to lose a couple of villagers on that berry bush as well, but at the end of the day, when you can't straight up fight the army, this is kind of what you have to do to stay in the game. Going to pick up another villager on this gold mine here, potentially kill off these reinforcements as well.
That seems like it would be valuable.
Yeah, but nothing at home to really contest the skirmishers, so he has to be careful. He is sort of moving forward. He doesn't really want to commit to a fight here, but he might be a little bit distracted by what's going on the other side of the map. Lost a handful of Axe Riders there.
Yeah.
For
although
pretty much free.
Unupgraded on those Axe Riders anyway. Maybe not worth too much without that upgrade.
Yeah, the Bow Riders and the Rifle Riders not in the best position against these skirmishers, but still picking off a lot of the reinforcements back at home. So, I mean, the trade in his base isn't super optimal, but it's sort of the same way for Dutch at the moment. Although now that the Reuters are back home, he's going to be able to clean this up pretty effectively. Those Reuters are quite a bit faster than than Bow Riders as well, so he could chase this down if he's on top of things. Looks like Warno will escape though for the time being.
Yeah, Warno pulling ahead just a little bit on this eco pop. He does have a market down now and has gotten a few upgrades. Hunting dogs, placer mines. I'm not sure if we're going to see steel traps. But the army mass here from Paul is looking pretty scary.
Yeah, it is, and this is a lot easier for him to replace than it is for Warno. Trying to rebuild
Another
that warhead as
down.
well.
Yeah.
It feels like Bow Riders just aren't really the unit he wants to be making here against this composition. Bow Riders do a lot of damage for sure, but they don't have any range resistance, so they die very fast to the skirmishers, even more so than other ranged cavalry would. So,
right,
it's kind of getting melted a little bit, and
cavalry combat coming in for the Sioux player.
warhead does go up, barely.
Losing a lot of ills there, though, and that's game for him.
Yeah, GG is called by Warno there. Alright, so, yeah, Paulus Maximus manages to tie it up 1-1.
Just, yeah, it looks like we might be seeing a quick series here, or a close series here, rather, not a quick one.
Yeah, it was looking good for Warno in the early game there. And then, I don't know, once they got up to Fortress, just, Paulus just kept trading all the time, and, didn't let the Sioux mass up, didn't let them reach the point where they felt like they could be comfortable enough to stack the resources to get that dog, soldier, big button, and stuff like that. And, just managed to pick up a pretty clean victory as a result. Well, yeah. I say clean, but clean disregarding the early game.
Alright, let's, get into this next game. I'm not sure what map we're headed for yet. I'm going to try to look that up.
Looks like it's going to be Florida.
Florida? I don't remember seeing that in the pool, but okay. It could be. My memory is very poor.
That is indeed what the match notes say, so...
Okay. Florida, indeed. Is the game hosted?
It is. Just waiting for Warno to join before I join.
Yeah. I will be right back as that's getting hosted.
Alright, so the map is going to be Florida. Paulus Maximus did win the previous game, so he's going to have to pick his civilization first, giving Warno the counter pick. He cannot play Dutch again. But he could think about playing Spain again, which he did play in the first game. Although it looks like it's going to be the British. That makes a lot of sense on Florida, as there's a lot of resources in your base on this map. A lot of really close hunts, a lot of safe gold mines. Starting market definitely helps kickstart your boom a little bit as British. So that seems like a solid pick. It looks like Warno is going to be responding with Japan. Doesn't really benefit as much from the natural resources on this map, but...
Is this the matchup here?
It seems like it is.
Alright, I see some greens.
Okay, here we go. So game number 3. Series is currently tied up 1-1. Matchup's going to be Brit versus Brit versus Japan, sorry.
Shrines are kind of like banks. You're close.
True. It is similar. And, I mean, Japan can get a bank. So
That's true. There you go.
yeah, it basically just is Dutch. You're right.
I have to say, I'd be surprised if we see that bank coming out this game, but
Never know, could happen.
it could happen. On the north side of the map here, we've got Paulus Maximus spawned in as British, and on the south side of the map, Warno playing in the red color as Japan.
All right. What was I going to say? I had something I was going to say about this matchup, but now I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I was going to say, although Japan doesn't really benefit so much from the natural resources in the base, they do make a lot of sense on this map in the sense that even on a gold start, you can get that consulate down very easily, as you can just trade the resources at the market there, although that doesn't seem to be what Warno is going to do. But aside from that, there's also sheep, and with the large number of scouts you get with the 2 monks, as well as that additional cherry orchard rickshaw, which is somewhere going to be placed down the base now.
He did pick up 1 sheep with that, although he hasn't brought it home down here in the corner.
Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, it looks like he's going to be picking up a lot of sheep anyway with his monks, 1 sheep getting picked up here. So he will likely get the sheep advantage just as a result of having all of those extra scouts.
Going for the 75 wood and with a contingent here, but it looks like he's going to be able to pick it up.
Oh,
well,
okay.
I'm not sure. I think Paul picked that up. Yes, he did.
Yeah, looks like Warno wasn't expecting his own Divine Strike there. And that's going to be nice for Paulus Maximus. He actually gets to drop an additional mana off the back of that, as well as research hunting dogs. So, very good pickup for him.
Wood, definitely a great pickup for British.
Yep. And Portuguese consulate coming down now for Japan, actually dropping the shrine in not the greatest spot ever. There's not really any animals nearby to get onto this. He could try and escort some of these sheep back at home up to that shrine if he wants. But at the moment,
like you'd rather do that in a more defended position.
Yeah.
I think that's just out of range of pulling in those deer.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him.
Maybe some nice line of sight, but
yeah, gonna lose a little bit of resources on that for sure. Oh, I can't change the tabs on the UI while this is paused.
Yeah, those all operate by in-game triggers as far as I know. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm just looking at Warno's population at the moment, and it looks like he is going to be sending the 3 boats card as his first card.
Seems like a good card on this map.
Yep. Not the greediest, not quite as greedy as Heavenly Kami, but it does help boost your early game economy, which is usually pretty weak as Japan. And gathering from the fish there with the boats will help preserve some of the food on these cherry orchards as well, meaning you don't have to send the 2 cherry orchard rickshaw shipment until a little bit later than you normally would otherwise. So there's definitely some merit to that there. And it could also leave open the possibility of being a little bit more aggressive or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's on the cards for sure.
Mouse problems. Battery problems. He's using a wireless mouse.
A wireless mouse. No, why? I was really sad when I bought last year I bought a new Logitech mouse to replace the old one I had. And I got it in the box and everything opened up and I was like, where's the cord?
Oh no.
I can't plug it in. And apparently it was one of those only wireless mouses. Normally I thought all the Logitech ones were like they always let you do either wired or wireless, and I was pretty sad about that. Had to send it back and get a different one.
I really like I have a SteelSeries mouse that I play with.
Nothing wrong with wireless mouse, to be honest. It's just preference.
Except for this, the battery.
Yeah, except for this, it's true. Wonder if can I look at the decks if I do this?
I
I
wasn't
can look at
able
the
to do
decks.
Oh, how'd you
If you go to menu and player summary, and then just select it like you normally
clever.
would.
They're ready though.
Okay. Looks like not a lot of water cards for either player really, aside from the obligatory water shipments for Japan.
Yeah.
He actually does have the option to go water with all these warship cards he has in here, and Brett doesn't really have any way to contest that, so it's an option available to him for sure.
Yeah, Paul going with a totally land deck here, so maybe a little bit difficult for him to contest the water if Warno chooses to go for that.
Here are the 3 fishing boats arriving. Gonna get to work immediately. And yeah, behind this looks like Britt's gonna be aging up a little bit later than maybe Britt would normally like to age up, but ultimately not going to be the biggest issue in the world. It is going to be the governor, giving him that 200 gold and the outpost he can potentially use to help defend a forward base or something like that, which I imagine we'll see.
Down. And picking up some more sheep, it looks like, in the back.
Yeah, a lot of sheep here for Japan.
Yeah, it looks like Paul's only got 1 sheep there in his base, and I think he starts with 1 in his base on this map.
Yeah, you do start with 1. He could have maybe eaten 1.
Maybe.
But I feel like he probably hasn't. I mean, there's still 1 behind his base that's been untaken, so yeah, I don't know. Unfortunate for him. That'll help Japan's economy a little bit, although his starting shrine is still not the greatest, and he should probably send sheep over there at some point, but yeah.
And his wonder is not too close to animals either. I guess he's planning to put sheep on that.
Yeah, I guess that is what he's planning to do with the sheep. And that's totally fine for sure. He gets to place the wonder. Well, when you have the sheep, it's a nice thing about Japan, because you get to decide where you place that wonder instead of letting the hunts decide for you. So you can place it a little bit more defensively than sometimes you otherwise would.
Yeah, I suppose that is quite nice since he's got the 8 sheep there.
Mm-hmm. Looks
forward
like a forward
going
base.
Down. Yeah.
And he's gathering a lot of wood and gold at the moment, so it's probably going to be a longbow pike of some sort once that does complete. Of course, he does have the gold from his gold crates. Looks like he's just going to be getting that for steel traps instead of using those for potential musketeers or anything like that. And Warno is going to scout this with the monks, so he knows that this is coming, and he does have the resources to place a military building right away.
Yep,
and it's going to be a barracks
going down.
And
700 wood coming out for British there, so probably indeed going for pikemen at least here.
Yeah, thankfully for Paulus, looks like he did actually manage to steal one of the sheep as he was scouting the Japan base there. Did manage to delete that, so it's a little bit disheartening as Japan for sure.
Absolutely. And actually, it looks like 2 batches of longbowmen coming out in a row here from Paulus. So we're going to see him maybe trying to harass with those a little bit first before getting any pikemen out, if any pikemen come at all.
Yeah, just another batch of longbow in queue, as you said. And this is basically just going to let him pressure, I guess, the villagers on the front cherry orchard here.
Yeah,
and
looking a little sloppy with this wall. Got some posts in here and some short segments.
Yeah, but this one vill going to go down, another vill going to go down.
2 vills.
Nice thing about 10 longbows is it's just enough to snipe a vill, so...
Yeah, came very close to 3 vills there. Gonna lose the scout, basically for free though. There.
Yeah, to be fair, instead of building pikemen as well, if he'd taken a look at the Japanese deck, he would of course see that it was 3 fishing boats that came out and not Heavenly Kami. So he should be aware that there's not gonna be as many shrines as there otherwise would be for Japan if they did something like 300 wood or Heavenly Kami. So there's not a lot for those pikemen to really do at the beginning, so these longbows are actually going to be maybe doing a little bit more damage than the pikes would. They've already forced quite a bit of idle time, killed a couple of villagers. And yeah, seems like they've been a solid choice for the time being. And 5 pikes now finally being added in. Going to allow him to maybe siege down this market or something like that.
Yeah, and we actually see 3 boats coming out a second time. Oh, no, are those the Portuguese boats? That's right.
Yeah. Yep, the Portuguese consulate boats. And looks like the Yumi mess is large enough now that Paulus is going to have to back off for the time being. He does have a second Rax down now, so he'll be able to mass up behind this pretty quickly. And Warno going for double 600 wood and dropping a stable with that 600 wood as well. Does he have 600 gold on the way next? I can't check that way. Hang on. No. Okay, so he's not actually going to be able to use this stable just yet.
Trying to push with these Yumi a little bit, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take that fight. Longbowmen, with that second barracks up, Paulus has gotten enough longbowmen out to contest the Yumi.
He does confirm that there is a second barracks, though, which is useful information. So he knows that it's unlikely that there's a stable down at this point in time, which means he doesn't really have to think about mixing Ashigaru or anything just yet.
10 pikemen in the back taking down a couple shrines, although maybe Warno not too unhappy about that, distracting these pikemen for a little while, and the one shrine not having any animals on it anyway.
Yeah, not the most valuable shrine in the world anyway, so who cares if you lose it, right? And one Naginata finally in queue now that he's switched his villagers over to gold. Looks like he's got his shrines on gold as well. And it doesn't look like Paulus will be prepared for this Nagi switch, potentially, with all of his pikemen off sieging and checking these animals for shrines. These longbows could be a little bit exposed if he manages to get a full batch of Nagi out here. And he's going to be poking into the base at the same time, too. So this could be a little bit dangerous.
One.
Another couple of vills going to go down.
Only 3 Nagi coming out of that pop, but definitely could do some damage here, although the pike's coming in on the left side. Maybe going to save these longbowmen. Yeah,
it looks like he'll be alright. Thankfully, the Yumi aren't quite there to follow up with that either. So it looks like he
there with the Yumi.
Is going to escape, not going to escape. Okay, so the Nagi are going to try and pick this off. And there's enough Yumi here that, having killed a few of the longbow. Yeah, having killed a few of the longbow with the Nagi, the Yumi can now kind of just do whatever they want here. He's got to be careful, though. I don't know if he's seen the stable yet. He should see it now at that one Yumi archer that's sort of drifted to the right here. There's Hussars in queue, so he can't really stick around here.
Yeah, and he's going to get out of there.
Going to be forced to back off as a result of seeing that stable. So Paulus probably not feeling too great about that fight there.
Yeah, Warno getting one more Nagi out. Probably would have liked to see a few more out of that batch.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, behind this, just looking at the shrine population, it's not looking great for Warno. Paulus's economy is quite a bit better, up to 150 mana pop. And whenever you're a low shrine pop on Japan, I mean, sure, like, he has a lot of units, but you gotta remember, like, his villagers aren't quite as valuable as British villagers, just because they have to gather from berries, which is a little bit slower. And 6 of these villagers are also fishing boats, which are unupgraded fishing boats as well. So his economy is actually quite a bit worse than the Brit economy at the moment. And 10 Hussars coming in here. There's nothing to really deal with these. Going to get distracted by one Nagi buying the Yumi a little bit of time to get away. He does have Minutemen he could call. He's doesn't have any clubs on the way or anything like that. He has Nagi in queue, but this is looking like it could be a rough fight for him. The longbow's going to be killing a lot of vills behind this instead of focusing the longbows. I like the decision here to kill the villagers, as those Yumi have nothing to defend them. The Nagi do come out to try and defend the Yumi, but a little bit too late. Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be a quick GG coming out there.
Yeah, that makes this 2-0 for Paulus.
2-1
I feel
actually.
like in this 2-1. That's right. I feel like in this matchup, I like to see some Ashy rating out of Japan here, and more pressure on the British player.
Yeah.
Because British has just so much boom potential that Japan just can't compete with it in the early game.
Yeah, some Ashy would have been nice, for sure. I mean, the Yumi mass is good too, but it's a little bit slower and gives Brit a little bit more time, right, to do whatever they want.
Right.
Whereas the Ashigaru are a lot harder to deal with early on before you get a decent longbow mass. Like, longbows don't do super well against heavy infantry compared to similar units, because they don't have the greatest multiplier. Just kind of
walk away from a fight that they don't want to take. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the longbows can't exactly kite or chase very well because of that setup animation. They also just don't do as much damage if, it's just a little bit awkward to deal with the Ashigaru in the early game for British, for sure, so that would have been nice. But the Yumi are definitely good in the later stages of the colonial age and as the game progresses. But, unfortunately, just getting caught in position with nothing to defend them, and ends up losing his whole army as a result.
Yeah, all right, so we're going to move on to the next match here, which could be match point for Paulus here. Next map is Kamchatka, which it looks like they figured out. And Paulus has to pick first yet again. Or not again. Yes, again.
And he cannot use either Dutch or British. Although I don't think that will be a super big hindrance for him, as he seems to have a relatively diverse civ pool.
Mm-hmm. Germany? Yep, Germany coming out. Definitely a good civ on this map. Can get a starting trading post in a lot of situations.
Yeah. Easy to defend that trading post with it being in base as well. And the 2 gold mines being at home also make it a little bit easier to get away with like fast fortresses and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And Warno picking British into that.
Yep, and British makes sense on this map too as well. Like, there's a lot of hunts near your base that you can herd in very easily.
Yeah.
Just a lot of resources in general, and the choke points you can wall off very quickly, sort of deny raiding paths to your opponent that way, which can help you later on when you do have to leave your base, for sure. And the choke points are also just good for the British army in general. If you go for like a longbow type of playstyle or something, longbows are, of course, very, very happy about choke points.
Yeah, absolutely. So we see Warno yet again in red, playing as the British on the southeast side of the map here. I will show you when we are done saving the EP recorded game. Oh wait, I don't have the camera. Mitoe will show you. And Paul on the northwest side of the map here, playing in blue with the Germans. Does not look like we had a wood start here, so probably not going to be seeing a market go down and not a starting trading post, as we were talking about.
Yep, I'm going to start gathering gold to trade that gold crate into wood as well. And one settler wagon going to be walking the long way all the way around that market to get to the wood line here. Feels a little bit painful, but won't be losing too many resources behind that, probably.
Yeah, maybe it would have been quicker to pop through the TC to that other set of trees.
Yep. Looks like on the other side of the map, Warno going to be foregoing the market idea altogether. Just going to drop that manor down, try to gather up food as fast as possible, and make sure that he gets that age up in as easily and smoothly as he can. And other than that, in the middle of the map, picking up 2 goats for Warno, could potentially pick up the second batch of goats over here, and that would give him a nice little advantage in the early game. Looks like
Paul not too far away with
it.
his explorer, but doesn't look like he's gonna see these goats over here heading back the other way.
Yeah, and this is just sort of the result of Paul is sort of walking towards the top side of the map at the start instead of towards the middle. Of course, the middle portion of the map on Kamchatka here does have those batches of 2 goats instead of the batches of 1 goats that you see like elsewhere on the map here. So you usually see players.
No big wood treasure in the middle island that we usually see. So
yeah, there is
less advantage.
Yeah, that's true. There is often a good treasure in the middle as well, but this time around it was only 30 coin. But yeah, Warno walking straight to the middle there pays off, getting the goats very quickly. And that will certainly help him out later on when he needs the food. Going to be picking up this 80 food treasure as well. And having not gone for the market, this means he could start aging relatively early. Yeah, if you look at at his wait, actually, am I wrong? I thought he was already aging, actually. He's not aging yet, but he'll be able to age a little bit earlier than other civilizations, as Brit usually can do.
Yeah.
I think. No, okay. He did sort of hesitate for a second there, canceled 1 villager, so he's going to be actually aging up at around 3 minutes, which would be around the same time that Germany clicks up. Although looking at Germany's food, he might have to idle just a little bit as a result of going for that market. So apparently I have no idea what I'm talking about at the moment, because I'm just
join the club,
flip-flopping on what I'm saying all the time. But the summary is, now that we have complete information, British is going to be aging up a little bit faster, and Germany will be forced to idle their town center. Going to be aging probably about 20 seconds later than he would have liked, but as Brit also aged about 20 seconds later than he would like, it's probably not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah. Warno picking up a lot of goats this game. Again, Paul has not done too well in the goat game. Only got 1 goat on his end of the map, and Warno picking up 7 other ones. I'm not sure if there are more. Looks like there are a few more out on the map still.
Yeah, he's kind of got enough goats that he could actually consider building a livestock pen at some point. Might be worth it. But it would mean that he would have less manors. Maybe would have to delay the military building or something like that. So we might not see that out of British. But it's an option, for sure.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, looks like Germany's going to be gathering up for that trading post. Looks like he's going to be going for the middle trading post, which is going to be a little bit harder to defend. Could mean that he's maybe considering doing something a little bit aggressive, because if you're doing something aggressive, obviously the fact that the trading post is harder to defend isn't going to matter as much. And
Right.
Warno, actually, I really like this. He's actually been sitting next to this trading post, just double-checking exactly where Paulus is building that. He's walking towards the middle now just to confirm that it is going to be that middle trading post, and I imagine he'll try to punish that at some point in this game.
Yeah. And
So
Warno's barracks and outpost going up just right in the base there. Maybe expecting this aggressive play here.
yeah, although it doesn't look like it is actually going to be anything aggressive out of Germany. Looking back at home, like there's no forward villagers or anything. Looks like it's just going to be
Stable going down.
Yeah, stable going down. So that trading post could definitely be hard to defend against something like musketeers or pikemen, and it looks like it is going to be musketeers in queue for Warno. So I like that Warno's confirmed that that trading post is there. I hope that he does act on that and choose to punish that at some point. He does have to be a little bit careful, because an early batch of 7 Ulans probably beats 5 pikemen or 5 musketeers on their own. So you might have to wait just a little bit before he actually commits to going for that. But later on, when he does have a little bit more units out, he'll be able to take that down pretty easily.
Yeah. Paul coming in with his Olins a little bit, maybe hoping to poke some villagers, but Warno has done a pretty good job of herding his animals here, and probably not going to be able to pick anything up. Though a couple of these vills building manors out here are a little bit vulnerable.
Yep, and not quite in line of sight yet. Does get spotted now, and looks like Wardo's going to be quick to react to that with those musketeers. Although that vill might go down anyway, just going to sacrifice one of the Ulans for that.
Well, and not even losing an Olin there, just enough hit points to have lost one, but...
Yeah.
And 4 Olins coming in the other side here.
Yeah, and I think Warno's done a good job of splitting up his musketeers, having 5 on one side and 4 on the other, just so he can... he doesn't get into that situation where he ends up with his musketeers like in a place where they can't defend easily. Although they did get distracted by that explorer and ended up chasing a little bit, so they might be a little bit out of position for this particular raid. One more vill going to go down, it looks like. But at the cost of 2 Ulans, maybe?
Yeah.
2 Ulans, almost 3 Ulans. So that's not the worst trade in the world. Yeah, there's the third one that will go down.
Yeah, and British a little less unhappy about losing vills with their ability to just pop more out of manors.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like a second trading post is going to be going down for Germany with this 700 wood. So maybe that was part of the plan all along, and maybe part of the reason why he built the trading post in the middle. He just figured, like, oh, I'm going to build 2 anyway, so it doesn't really matter where I build it. But yeah, Warno, now that he's got a decent mass of musketeers, he knows that he'll be safe to be on the map, so he's going to head out into this trading post and take that down. Does mean that he could be a little bit exposed to another raid here, but...
yeah, Paul swinging some Olins around, but keeping them in line of sight, so and Hussar popping out to kind of deflect these, so Warno not feeling too bad about that.
Yeah. So it looks like he will be able to dissuade the Ulans from raiding and take down this trading post relatively comfortably. But behind this, Germany's got the resources to advance to the Fortress Age, and we'll be clicking up pretty soon here. Oh, the Hussars actually getting caught. And some good micro from Paulus as well, pulling the 1 Ulan back that was being attacked. Actually means that he's going to kill at least 2 of these Hussars for free.
Yeah, I think he's going to clean all of those up. Oh,
well, he's got to be a little bit careful about chasing this, yeah. But yeah, that's a good pickup for him. And he's halfway up to Fortress now. I think Warno's maybe expecting this, having not seen any additional Ulans being trained. Looks like he's going to be moving across the map towards the German base. And he's not gathering to age up himself or anything like that. He's actually just continuing to train units. So he's definitely going to be going for a strong timing here. Although these Ulans going to be...
pulling vills in there.
Yeah, saves the vills. This idle time, though, is going to mean that these unit batches are going to be a little bit smaller than he would have liked, only getting out 3 Hussars on that batch there as a result.
Yeah. Catching the Ulans, but Paul turning one back to save the other one. Again, pretty good Ulan micro we're seeing from Paulus.
Yep. Settler wagon, a little bit exposed. Not going to go down.
Quite quick enough.
Yeah, but he will be able to maybe clean up this house before any Fortress Age units come out here for Germany. He does have skirms and war wagons in queue, but yeah, that house is going to go down. And maybe a second house. Not too much of a worry for Paul, though, since he had some extra houses in here. Yeah. Although, you burn through population space so quickly as Germany with those additional Ulans on those shipments, right, that losing every house is a little bit painful. Hussar's going to be going in here. 3 war wagon shipment, going to be dissuading them.
Musketeer Grin damage coming in here, so bolstering that army just a little bit, but still not feeling good enough about walking in.
I'm not sure what the plan is for Warno at the moment. That he's floating on a lot of gold at the moment. Looks like he just traded some of it for food. But
putting down a second barracks.
Yeah, but,
so I guess committing to a longer colonial game here.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's still got units in queue. And investing in that musketeer damage means that he probably doesn't have any intention of aging, although with all the gold he has, he certainly could consider it. I'm not really sure why he has so many vills on gold.
Yeah,
But,
I'm not either.
one gold mine running out, maybe he'll realize that he should fix his macro just a little bit.
I don't know. It
And
looks like those are headed for the other mine.
it looks like you might be right. So, yeah, gonna be floating. Well, you can only put 20 vills on a mine, so he's gonna be forced to put some of these on food, surely. But looks like Paul is gonna be pushing across the map now. I don't think he's aware that Warno is staying in Colonial, so he could get caught off guard a little bit here. I mean, there's not a lot of Hussars to snare, but their army size is still pretty big. And a few Uhlans gonna drop here. One Hussar going down. So relatively even trade so far.
Managing to get out of there, though.
Yeah, and with reinforcing war wagons coming, I think Paulus will be just fine, even if they do end up fighting. War wagons are, of course, very, very good against Musk-Huss type of compositions, as they do have that additional range on them. They also have the melee resistance, so they can be a little bit tankier against like Hussars and stuff like that than other Dragoon units would be. So
Warno kind of walked to the other side of the base here, and maybe, well, I guess that's fine. Doesn't really want them to get picked off by skirms.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky defense for him either way. Minutemen being called.
The Minutemen, yeah.
So he's going to try and fight this. The Hussars, though, trying to getting caught behind the Musketeers here, not able to get in a position where they can get onto the skirmishers. Also just going to get cleaned up by the Uhlans as they try to walk through here. Not doing any damage themselves, just dying, unfortunately. And all that's going to be left is Musketeers against the War Wagon skirms. Is going to be
in the trees here just to make it a little harder to get on. I mean, that's not really good for him to make it harder to get on the Uhlans, but they're just going to die as these skirmishers stand and shoot them. There's not really much he can do about this. This might be the series right here.
Yeah, although that being said, he's cleaned up all of the Uhlans. He's cleaned up a couple more war wagons. There's some Hussars coming onto the skirmishers here. He's not out of this yet. He's got more Musketeers being trained behind this.
Yeah.
Another batch popping. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough to clean up the army, but it definitely could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting those Musketeers to finish melting away and see a lot of German army left, but there's really not too much here yet. Maybe about 10 skirmishers and 6 war wagons, though, is still a lot.
But yeah, as you said, though, at the end of the day, it's going to be too much for a colonial British to deal with, especially when all of their hunts are out and they have like 40 idle villagers walking towards the next hunt, and they've been spotted by the German army. So
yeah, and just no shipments left to send in the colonial age, really. Maybe Musketeer hit points. I mean, not too valuable at that point in the game.
Yeah, for sure. I
think this 2,000 coin or 1,000 coin he had been floating for a lot of the game had a big impact on how that turned out.
Yeah, he could have had some more units in that fight for sure, maybe a little bit earlier, which maybe he could have forced something before that second batch of war wagons had come if his macro was a little bit better, and that could have made a big difference for sure. But either way, it looks like Paulus Maximus is going to pick up the win 3-1 over Warno and move on to the next round. So congrats to him. And yeah, I think that's going to be the end of the stream for today. I don't believe there's anything else going on.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't think there's anything else coming up today. I don't know when the next streams are going to be. Looks like there are some games scheduled for tomorrow, but I don't know if they're going to be cast